Ever been scrolling through a sea of analytical balances, seeing all those glossy images and 0.0001G readability claims, only to get the balance home and discover it's a nightmare to keep stable, or that the Draftshield is a constant source of frustration? I've heard that story a lot, and it's exactly why I wanted to break down the Ohaus PX84 Pioneer before anyone drops a few $100 on it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The truth is, a balance that looks perfect on paper can feel completely different the moment you start weighing powders for a chemistry class or measuring active pharmaceutical ingredients for a small batch. Let's walk through the everyday experience, the hidden trade-offs, and figure out who really benefits from this model. First off, the PX84 is built around an 84-gram capacity with a readability of 0.0001G. That combination feels like a very deliberate choice from Ohaus. Enough range for most routine lab samples, think a few milliliters of a liquid reagent or a handful of solid powders, while still offering that extra decimal place you need when you're formulating a standard solution. In a teaching lab I visited, students were frequently measuring out 50 milligrams of a catalyst. The balance hit the target in seconds and displayed the value without any flicker. That speed and precision comes from the built-in internal calibration routine, which runs automatically when you power up. No more pulling out a separate weight set and manually calibrating every morning. The balance does it for you, and you get a readout that's ready to record. The Draftshield on the PX84 is a double-edged sword. On paper, it's a lifesaver because it blocks air currents that would otherwise sway a 0.0001G measurement. In practice, I've seen the shield get in the way when you need to quickly add a solid or a liquid droplet. You have to lift the shield, place the sample, then close it again. Each movement adds a few seconds to the workflow. For a high-throughput environment where dozens of weighings happen per hour, that extra handling can add up. However, if your lab sits near a window or a ventilation hood, the shield becomes essential. Without it, the balance can drift enough to ruin an assay. So the value of the shield really depends on how controlled your environment already is. Power options also matter more than most people think. The PX84 runs on a standard AC adapter, which is reliable for a benchtop setup, but it also has a battery backup that can keep it running for a few hours during a power interruption. In a research lab that's prone to occasional outages, that backup can be a quiet hero, preventing a lost calibration cycle and keeping your data consistent. On the flip side, the battery adds a small maintenance task. You'll need to check the charge every few months. If you're setting this up in a home office or a hobby workshop where the power is stable, you'll probably never notice the battery at all. Construction-wise, the balance feels solid. The pan is stainless steel, wide enough to accommodate a standard weighing boat without crowding the edges, which is a practical detail when you're handling viscous liquids or sticky powders. The display is a clear LCD that shows units and the weight simultaneously, making it easy to switch between grams, milligrams, or micrograms on the fly. One thing to keep in mind is that the 84-gram limit caps you out if you ever need to weigh larger quantities, say, bulk chemicals for a formulation batch. In that case, you'd have to split the sample, which introduces extra steps and potential errors. For most analytical work that stays under 80G, this isn't a problem, but it's a hard ceiling you can't move. Now, who should actually buy the PX84? If you run a quality control lab, a university teaching lab, or a small R&D outfit that needs consistent, sub-milligram accuracy without the hassle of external calibration, this balance hits the sweet spot. Its internal calibration, Draftshield, and easy Toriad display make daily weighing smoother, and the compact footprint fits on a standard bench without crowding other equipment. It also integrates well with Ohaus's software suite if you need to log data directly to a PC, which is a nice plus for traceability in regulated environments. Conversely, you might want to skip it if you're a hobbyist who only needs rough measurements, or if you regularly need to weigh over 100 grams at a time. In those scenarios, the limited capacity forces you to do extra work, and you might be overpaying for a level of precision you'll never fully exploit. Also, if your workspace is already a sealed, draft-free enclosure, the built-in shield could feel redundant and add unnecessary steps to your workflow. For those users, a simpler, lower capacity balance or a scale with a larger pan might make more sense. Let's talk value beyond the headline specs. The real money saver here is the reduction in downtime. Because the balance calibrates itself, you avoid the recurring cost of purchasing calibration weights and the labor of manual checks. The Draftshield.